Authorities in eastern Libya have announced a conference in March to drum up support to rebuild the country's second-largest city, Benghazi, which was heavily destroyed during 3 years of fighting between military forces and Islamist fighters. The forum, titled International Conference and Exhibition for Rebuilding Benghazi City, will be held from March the 19th to the 21st in 2018. The announcement signals a desire to demonstrate a return to normalcy in the port, where top military commander Khalifa Haftar had declared the end of a campaign to oust Islamist fighters in July. The United Nations has sought to bridge differences between the two sides as a means of creating peace. The conflict has been in existence since Muammar Gaddafi was toppled in 2011. And Egypt says it has suggested to Ethiopia and Sudan that they all call in international experts to help settle a dispute on an Ethiopian dam project on the River Nile. Egypt fears the hydroelectric scheme will restrict the waters flowing down from Ethiopia's highlands through the deserts of Sudan to its fields and reservoirs, but Ethiopia has a different opinion. Ministers from Ethiopia and Egypt met on Tuesday to try to resolve a disagreement over the wording of a report on the environmental impact of the $4 billion Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, which is still being built. Egypt's Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry says they had not managed to reach a breakthrough or have sufficient results to enable the process to move forward since the three nations met in November. This year, the flow of African migrants going to Europe in search of opportunities for a better life continued, with many losing their lives on the way. Millions were forced from their homes due to conflicts in different parts of the continent, and as the refugee crisis struggled under funding shortages.
In Africa, migration remained a big issue in 2017. Once a busy staging post for tens of thousands of West African refugees being smuggled into Europe, Agadez camp in Niger is now struggling to redefine its local economy as the government cracks down on traffickers in return for huge cash incentives and investment from the European Union.
This ghetto was one of the biggest ghettos in Agadez. It could shelter between 50 and 100 people. The number of people that used to live here was around 500 people, and every Monday trucks would come and pick people up, and there will be at least 200 people left. Unfortunately, today things have changed. Measures were taken, and things have changed. Everyone has left.
After epic journeys across Africa, migrants are often caught and sent home before they even take to the sea to reach Europe, and many have tales of abuse, kidnapping and slavery. Thousands of African migrants find themselves stuck in the Libyan city of Sabah, where migrants are sold, tortured and turned into slaves in a place controlled by Libyan militia that is known as Gun Town, a reputation local officials say is undeserved. Although would-be migrants pay smugglers' agents to organize their trip to Tripoli, where they can catch a boat to Europe, they find the fee does not guarantee them safe passage. If their drivers do not get paid by the agents, they sometimes sell the migrants to gangsters who jail them and demand repayment with interest. The International Organization for Migration said about half the migrant returnees it helped last year were held in Libya's detention centers, where many suffer ill health and have no access to proper treatment. 2017 was also another year of uncertainty and anxiety for South Sudanese refugees who continue to seek shelter in United Nations compounds and neighboring countries. 2 years after independence, South Sudan plunged into conflict in 2013 after rivalry between President Salva Kiir and his then Vice President Riek Machar exploded into violence. In Uganda, at least 9,000 lone miners have been registered in the country, and agencies said the number is expected to rise.
We have now registered 9,000 unaccompanied and separated children. Children who don't know if their parents are alive or dead, who are just told to follow the crowd coming from South Sudan here.
Aid agencies warn that coming years will be tough for African refugees due to insufficient funding and the growing displacement and migration crisis in the Middle East and Europe.